I want to be intentional with you.
Me too.
Hey everybody, how we
How's
doing?
everybody doing? Hi, baby.
Baby.
So here we are again.
Yes.
We're excited about this
Oh, yeah.
episode and about this series.
Oh yeah.
Because it's very close to our life.
Yeah.
So we're living it, and we're trying to put it to practice.
Oh yeah. It's
So-
just continuous practice. Never ends.
But before we forget, my name is Rosie.
And I'm Elvis.
And we gotta go on a quick recap
Mhm.
on the last episode.
Yep.
You want me to do a recap? Because I
Sure.
love that.
Of course.
So we talked about one of our favorite, our favorite thing, which is quality time. How we prioritize and apply maybe certain strategies of how to separate our time, because life happens. Life is hard.
Mhm.
Have a bunch of things in between, and somehow it's hard to prioritize your relationship, but somehow we manage.
Yep.
And we talked about, if you have not watched the episode, go back. It's available already on our channel, and take notes, because it's very, very refreshing to remember those things, because trust me, you will forget the next week and you go back to the routine. We talk about breaking the routine, coming up with plans, scheduling things, and something that we practice that is 777. And I'm not gonna give it away. Go watch the episode so you can figure it out what it is. But I think we got really good feedback from
Yep.
people that watched it, and here we are now on our episode 3, and we're gonna kind of gravitate to something else in
Mhm.
the series of quality time that is very important.
All right. I think for this episode, we're gonna talk about the kids, right? The episode's called "Love on Them Kids." So if you don't have kids yet, or if you do have kids, this works out, because if you don't, this is kind of like the prequel to you having kids.
Get ready.
And if you have kids, you already know the insanity that can happen every day with your
It's a
kids.
wild ride.
So yeah, um, in here we're gonna detail basically some of the things that work for us, that have worked for us, and continue working for us, because our kids are our kids until until it's it. You know,
We're gonna
They can
talk
be
maybe about
adults.
things that don't work for us.
Yeah.
Too.
They'll be adults and they'll still be our kids.
Mhm.
For us, our parents still view us as their kids. So we're doing the same.
My mom calls me, when you coming to see
Mhm.
me? So she yearns that quality time for me, and I'm in my 40s.
I'm still my mom's baby. Like, she'll say that that's my baby,
Hi,
and I'm like,
baby.
well, I can drive now.
But I think it applies for whether you are a parent or whether you are a child
Mhm.
of someone, obviously. So let's just get into it, because I'm excited about this. I think I struggle with some of these things. Not struggle, but I'm challenged. Struggle, same thing. Because maybe I'm a young mom. I had my kids when I was very young, and maybe at the time I didn't know how to apply quality time because I was busy. I was also being a single mom. I had to do a lot of things, and maybe I wish that I could go back and maybe apply what I know now. But what I can do is apply it now,
Mhm.
wherever our kids are
Yep.
in the age that they are right now.
Yeah, it's
but
never too late.
it's never too late, and so I'm excited about this.
All right. So we're gonna start off with the scripture.
Yes.
It's found in Proverbs 22,
Mhm.
verse 6, and it says, "Direct your children onto the right path, and when they are older, they will not leave it."
Mhm.
That's like so impactful, piece by piece.
Mhm.
In there, it's basic, and we talked about this before we got on. It was more of the guiding your child through the scope of their life, on what's happening in their life. Obviously, you're applying the principles of God into it, but you're also walking them in that path of what is the right thing to do, or you know, what to look for
Mhm.
while they're having those issues.
I think in my childhood, love your mom and dad. It got very focused on serve God, but they never taught me how to balance a checkbook or
Mhm.
how to. So now that I know this, and I'm like, oh my god, like my parents are amazing, and they did the best they could to
Mhm.
raise me to be a good woman of God and a good person. But now in my generation, I'm like, okay, maybe I can teach my kids this so they don't go through the struggle that I went through.
Mm-hmm.
And that scripture is very vivid because it's not only about teaching them about God and their relationship, which is the primary thing
Yep.
that we should do, but also teaching them on their walk with friends, school, habits, take a shower, brush your
Put on
teeth.
deodorant.
That's our life right now. It's those essential things that can happen through quality time.
Yep.
I don't know if you remember. I do remember vividly when my parents we weren't that close, but they always told me what to do. They rubbed me the wrong way, and I'm like, oh my god. But I think that we try our best for the kids that are living at home now. That we tell them maybe what not to do, but why.
Mm-hmm.
The explanation of why.
Yep.
And why God and us maybe don't think this is the best for them because these are the repercussions. And at the end, we love you and we want the best for you. We don't want to be annoying, but we want you to have a best life. We want you to be better than us.
Yep.
And have a better life.
Yeah, I mean, as a kid, especially us millennials, if you're in the room, raise your hand. Put a hand raise on the comments. But it's almost like you're being voluntold to do stuff without any background. When I was a kid growing up, it was, do it or get grounded, and it was never that background of conversation where why you should do it.
Yeah.
And again, shout out to my parents because they did the best of what they could do with their abilities. For our kids, we like to, extend that olive branch of why they should make their bed in the morning. What practices does this do for them in the future? It's almost like that Karate Kid, Mr. Miyagi type. And I always talk to them about it. It's like you don't know that you're doing something right until you find out that you're doing something right, and you have to put it in place. So it's like those things: waking up, brushing your teeth, putting on deodorant, taking a shower, making your bed before you leave to go to school or work. Like those are basic principles that kind of like shape you and sculpt you to later on, amongst other things that you have to do, obviously. But those are the things that we instill in our kids, and we give them the example of when you have your own place and when you do grow up and you have a significant other, like how you should treat them and how you should go about your day. And doing this now propels you to that, so that way it becomes a habit, right? And that's all we want for all our kids. I mean, is the best for them, is giving them the knowledge that we probably didn't get as a kid, and instilling them the principles of God in the same process.
And I think you're good. We have more boys than girls living currently with us, so you use a lot of basketball. He loses me all the time. He's like, Jordan. I'm a fan of Jordan, but Michael Jordan and LeBron James. I know LeBron James was a kid, but you use others. I have no clue what you're talking about. But the boys are like, oh yeah, I get it.
I even use it in the groups that we go to.
And I think this is something that we want to discuss: is meeting your kids where they're at. I think it's like speaking their love language. I got that growing up, that not because my parents didn't want to please me or understand me, but maybe they didn't know what they didn't know at the time. I get that now because I'm a parent and I make the same mistakes. And I'm like, oh, that's why. But I think that when you try to relate with the kids. Sometimes I'm coming with a different mentality. We're gonna talk to the kids, and I'll decide, well, Jordan and Curry, this, and I'm like, this is not what I was aiming for. But yeah, and I can see how you capture the boys' attention because you're speaking their language, and also you try to do things with them that are related to what they like. In this case, you're winning because there's a lot of boys. Danielle and I, we're like, we get our nails together, and she's 6 too, so we're building that quality time together when she's here with us. But it's meeting the kids where they're at. I don't think our parents probably knew how to do that in a sense. Like you and I talk on this podcast. Like, we come from a Spanish heritage where do this. I don't have to explain to you why. And we're trying to maybe change that in order to maybe do things a little little different, and
Mhm.
they can be received a little different.
Yep.
I don't think that I think until you become a parent, you understand why things happen in our
Yep.
past, and you appreciate. But at the time, I didn't. I thought my parents hated me. I'm like, oh my god, like they don't relate with anything that I
Yep.
like to do. And it's I don't think it was that. It's just like it was different times. But I wish that I had somebody that told me when my kids were younger what I'm talking about now, and
Mhm.
I have learned because of the grace of God explaining these things to me and to us now. But meeting the kids where they at, it's something that we talked about a lot. Um, I think we try to join the kids in certain games that maybe another adult would say, "Why are you playing that game?" Because my kids like it.
Mhm.
I'm gonna spend time with them doing that. It's not that I'm gonna be on my phone playing 24/7, but it's something that I can relate. So, what does your child likes that you can maybe join their world
Mhm.
instead of always expecting them to join our world?
Yeah. I mean, it's always great when like your child aligns with the stuff that you like,
Yeah,
right? So like,
amazing.
I mean, we've been blessed with the boys that live in the house. Love basketball.
Yeah,
So we have that thing where we can watch basketball games,
I
go
like to
play
watch it.
basketball, and do other things that we like. I've had to moderize some of the things that I'm not used to doing to be in their world.
Like,
And this also goes for the parents out there that you're not in. I'm not into the video game world like they are. And I know that you're not either. But you've taken that time to
mhm,
say, hey, I'm going to play
this game.
whatever game it is to spend time with them, and then I'm like, all right, I'll try it just to try it, so that way they can see the effort that
Yeah.
I'm putting in, that I don't know about it, but I'm gonna try it with them, and I will like ruin the whole thing. Like it's like I'm the worst at that game, and it's like
They make
okay,
fun of us.
and they make fun, but it's in a funny way where they can see like wow, like even though you're not good, you're
Trying.
trying to come into my world
Mm-hmm.
and understand why I like this game so much, or this opens up conversations with your child to spend that quality time
Mm-hmm.
in their world.
Mm-hmm.
Again, like Rosie said, like we're so used to being pulled into our parents' world when we were younger, and maybe some
I
people
have
do it
done that.
now. I've done
Mm-hmm.
it too.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like they're we need to meet them there.
Yeah.
We need to be a part of their world, so that way they can kind of also let us in while they're growing up. Because as anyone knows, when you become a teenager, you know everything that happens in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Their parents don't understand you, and these are the reasons why. It's because they've never been a part of your world. You've always been a part of theirs.
Mm-hmm.
So opening that door for them and seeing like, hey, like wow, my mom and my dad, I know they're not into games, or I know they're not into sports, or I know whatever it is, but they're willing to sacrifice themselves. They probably look dumb doing it, or they probably don't get it, but they're trying.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of like opens that door, especially in that crucial age where it's like I'm trying to develop myself, I'm trying to understand myself. That maybe now I can go and talk to them
Mm-hmm.
and
It
tell
opens
them.
that
It
door.
opens that door,
Yeah.
And again, everything with God in the center of it. Like we've trickled down on the relationships, and as far as having that relationship with God, having that relationship with your spouse, that kid factor is crucial
Mm-hmm.
because this is the future. This is the one who's going to, you know, grow up one day as an adult and hopefully, have that center of God in their life because that's how you grew up. That's how
Mm-hmm.
you had it in your household doing
Mm-hmm.
that. And it goes with going into their world and meeting them there.
That has worked for us.
Mm-hmm.
It has also backfired on us a few times,
Yeah.
but we keep trying.
Oh yeah.
Um, you might be saying, "Well, that's great, but maybe I don't get along with my kid." Try to find out what they like. Try to find out what they're willing to give you,
Mm-hmm.
and take that opportunity because if you go with the right intentions in your heart, hoping that God will heal whatever is happening. And everybody's different. I had those times in my life too. We both have. Um, God is gonna do His part.
Mm-hmm.
Just do your part.
Yep.
Try to be intentional about that. When somebody's intentional with me, it shows me that they care.
Right.
My daughter calls me on a. My daughter is a business owner. She's super busy. She doesn't have time for herself. Hey, mom, I'm
She She does that very.
I have 5 minutes to talk to you. That means the world. I have 5 minutes to talk to you. I just want to say hi. You doing good? Self is good? Okay, I'll call you later. That means the world to me. You're making time. She's a hairdresser, so it's not that she can schedule, like, she has back clients, and she's her work ethics are amazing, and we're very proud of her. But it's taken that, hey mom, I have this Saturday off. What are you guys doing? So that goes also to the what we were discussing earlier. Hopefully our kids can view and see our example, but they also can reciprocate. I was struggling with that word. I think I still said it wrong, but hopefully they can give back as well, or practice the same as giving that quality time to others. With your parents, honor your parents, friends, family members. I know sometimes our kids, they don't like to go to family gatherings, and we say,
"Oh, you're coming," but we
change it a little bit.
We change it a little bit and let them know why this is so important. You know, it's important to the family to have that family time,
to see your face,
to you know, you share memories that later on, if you don't go, something happens that was amazing and you're like, I missed out. You know, and it's a good partnership with your family to have that family time.
You create memories.
Oh yeah.
And I I get upset sometimes for those that work, our kids that work, that are hard workers. Make time, take the day off if you can. Obviously, if it's a new job, we understand life happens, but make that intentional move.
Right.
Put it on the schedule. Show up. Showing up is important. So hopefully, our kids can see that the same way mom and dad are prioritizing God, they prioritize each other. That's teaching them how to, whenever it's time for them to become a husband or a wife, how to treat their wives, their husbands, but also how to treat the family, how to treat my sibling. I think it's important that siblings. I love your family dynamic. I love how you guys are very intentional, and you have siblings that are living in New York. You have siblings that are living in Miami, and you are very connected with them.
Yeah.
I love how you guys have a group chat. I love how you guys, if it's somebody's birthday, they all kind of like communicate, happy birthday, and you like very intentional.
Yeah.
I love that about your family, having that intentionality.
Yeah.
That might not work with everybody in your family, and I want you to know that we hear you. We also have family members that we reach out, and they just, for different reasons, they don't have to be intentionally wrong or how do you say that, with bad intention.
Yeah.
It's just like we're maybe in this time frame we're not on the same page, and that's okay. But always show that you are willing. That door on your end is open.
Yeah.
Whenever you want to meet, yes, let's do it. But always do your part. Like, follow the principle, and then God will do the rest. And God only knows also why things sometimes don't happen. But we have to just trust God that it's okay. As long as I'm doing my part, it's okay. It doesn't feel good, but it's okay. Just do your part.
Yep.
And you will feel good with yourself as well.
Yeah. I mean, it goes into kind of our second point, which is understanding and reciprocating your child's love language. We spoke about it briefly within the spouses last episode, and in this episode, it's your kids have love languages too, you know, and it's understanding what they are. You know, maybe they're like mines, where we're foodies. It's not a love language, but it should be. This is the second time I say it.
I think our boys are right.
Oh yeah.
Equally very fluent.
Oh yeah. Which, I mean, I guess it can fall into gifts, I guess, right? If you had to like break it down to that, but it has to be food. They do different with gifts than they do with food, but it's in that area. But understanding your child's love language sometimes is words of affirmation. Maybe they play sports and they need that boost of like, wow, Jimmy, you did amazing. You crushed it.
Yeah.
You know, or they struck out. If they play baseball and they struck out every time, like, hey, you know what? Don't worry about it. You know, give them words of affirmation. Next time you're going to do better. Yeah. You got this. I know you got this because I've seen you practice, you know. Or, Jill is in cheerleading and she
Mm-hmm.
does flips and she fell. Words of affirmation. Don't worry, honey. Get up. You got this. I know you got this. I've seen you do it before 1,000 times.
Mm-hmm.
Those things may be crucial for your child,
Mm-hmm.
and if we don't give that love to them in their own language, sometimes they don't feel that we do love them, even though we're saying, oh, but I do love you,
Yeah.
but I'm loving you the way I want to be loved and not
Yeah.
the way that you want to be loved.
I think we have two kids that they have different um, feelings about physical touch.
Yep.
One is a hugger, and the other one is like, "Don't touch me."
Yep.
And we have to speak to them.
Mm-hmm.
Your brother doesn't like that when you're going, "Hey, how are you? Hey, how are you? Hi, hi, hi."
Yep. Or arm around the shoulder, like, hey, what's up, brother?
Like
that. Like,
that's not his love language, and you constantly gonna
mm-hmm.
get a certain type of reaction because you're not speaking his love language.
Exactly.
He will like a different type of interaction with you. But also on the other hand, we talk to the one that is like, "Don't touch me." Say, "But your brother needs this type of attention." So maybe he doesn't have to be all the time on you, but you can give him a hug once in a while because that feels his cup.
Or
So
how
it's
they say,
about
like, dap them up.
Yep, like, "Hey, bro, how are you? Hey, what's going on?"
Yeah.
And for those that know our family, you guys, we don't have to say names. But it is important to know what they like.
Mm-hmm.
Us as parents, but within the family, maybe you still have that authority or that influence over your kid that you can communicate those things.
Yep.
And you'll see a different type of fruit
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to aligning, fulfilling the needs, aligning those needs. I don't like this, so please, respectfully, don't do this. But I know that you like this, so I'm gonna go out of my way and try to fill your cup.
Mm-hmm.
When we both work, or everybody works towards each other in that way, it's a different type of household.
Yeah. And again, it goes to that first part in Proverbs 22:6. Direct your child onto the right path.
Yep.
And love language is huge
Yes.
in this because it's not just your child,
Mm-hmm.
right? You've known them since they were born, or if you got into their life later on, but you've spent so much time with them that you understand them, and if you really dissect the time, you can understand your child's love language. Even in conversation, you can do it, and in that, it's teaching them how to reciprocate that to other people. Like Rosie said, is not just to other siblings, but outside in the world. You don't want somebody who's um, has their love language is physical touch, and they're just literally touching everybody in the world because we all know in today's society that's frowned upon. And it's balancing and teaching them
You have to.
why is this not safe to do that outside, and to understand other people's boundaries, to understand other people's love languages on friendships, on other family members that maybe aren't like that.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it's a tough talk.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it's all in putting in that time and that work into your child, because again, that child's going to grow up, and it goes back into that second part, right, where it says when they get older, they will not leave it, meaning they won't forget it,
Mm-hmm.
meaning they will remember the teachings.
They will stumble, but they will go back to
exactly
it.
Like, oh, you know what, I remember when mom was telling me about this.
I say that, and I'm in my 40s.
So again, it's wheeling it back to that, and again, understanding that quality time with that child is super important in their development as a child growing up to adult, and in your development as a parent.
It is the balance, because that quality time will open that door to then whatever you want to say to them, they'll receive it in a more open way than when you're constantly just telling them what to do. I have made that mistake. My kids are watching this. They can be like, yes, my mom. But I am very open to what God is doing in this season in my life, and He's telling me maybe you don't want to go the way here, and I have to listen to it because I do want to grow as a parent.
Yep.
Continuously grow as a Christian, but as a parent, as a mom, as a wife, and I have to listen to the Lord when He's telling me maybe you should have said that. Maybe how about if you go out and take them out to their favorite chicken wing place, and then you have a conversation, and that for me, I see that it's more effective. I see the fruits of it.
Yep.
And I want to continue to have my heart open. You're talking and I'm laughing because I have so many memories. But I tell my kids my love language is act of service. So I will appreciate if you guys keep the clean the kitchen clean. And before I was like, oh my God, this mess. But I have said to one of our youngest, I really don't like when things are this way because I like this. Can you? And when I explain it maybe in a different
Mm-hmm.
way, this is what I need from you. It's
Mm-hmm.
not that I just want to yell at you and I want to be mad at you and I
Mm-hmm.
want to ground you. No, this, I took it back. This is why. I have seen zero issues in the kitchen.
Yeah.
It's not maybe to my liking, but the action is there.
Yeah.
The effort is there. And also Lulu is working with me, like, see the effort before, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Because Latinas are like that. I'm working. God is working with you guys. But I have seen, after taking that time to
Mm-hmm.
explain the why, it's not that I want to be a pain to you. I don't want you to suffer and you're going to do what I say. But I'm saying this because I think kids appreciate that
Oh, yeah.
instead of just being told.
Yeah, I mean, I can attest to being a drill sergeant because, again, that's how you were raised. I was raised with kind of a drill sergeant as far as parents, at least on one side, and it was a very you're being told what to do, like no questions asked,
But
do it,
why?
and that's
None of your
it.
business.
There's exactly because I said so. Remember that?
Mhm.
Because I said so,
And that's it.
and that was it. And you did it because they said so. And I can understand sometimes when I've told the kids like because I said so, and then 5 minutes
I've
later
done
it's
it too.
like a smack in the face, like yeah, that's not the way you're supposed to do it. And again, it goes with having that quality time with God where
He
you
can
can
tell
you,
you.
you can be told now like hey like what you did earlier you need to
Reprogramming.
like
Yeah.
fix that
Mm-hmm.
you know and I'll go back and be like hey like I'm sorry I said it like that honestly it's because of X Y and Z. It's always we're always in the place of propelling our kids to adulthood and understanding the whys because everybody hates the age when kids are 2 years old and they say why over everything that you tell them because it's frustrating. But when they get older, they see what you do and they are doing the drill sergeant way, and they're not understanding the why anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And they're gonna grow up, be parents, and it's gonna be basically a generational thing where it's being told why, and that's it. Like you, if you're gonna be a drill sergeant to your kids when they grow up, they're gonna be a drill sergeant to their kids.
Mm-hmm.
You want to break that
Generational
generational
curse.
curse or that tie down of generation, where if you know that something was bad in your generation, don't repeat it down. And it's hard for us, right? Like we sometimes get into that matter of like, that's the only way I know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's no
Not until
book
you
there's no
meet
book of
Jesus.
curveballs to teach you how to be a perfect parent.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we can only go with what we know, and
What God is
when
guiding
God
us. Yeah.
when God guides us. So if God knows that, hey, I'm sorry
Tweak
you were
it.
brought up that way. That wasn't the way I wanted you to be brought up. But you know what? You have a child that I don't want you to bring them up that way. I want you to bring them up
Mm-hmm.
this way. We have to honor God in that way,
Yep.
and breaking that generational curse
Mm-hmm.
is a huge thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I pray over all our kids that regardless of whatever negativeness that we've gone through in our life and that we might have given them the speck
Transfer. Yeah.
to them, that we have time
Reverse it.
to reverse it and to change that aspect in their life to
Mm-hmm.
help them and propel them for when they have kids.
Mm-hmm.
We have one that has kids, and we can only hope that anything that happened before doesn't continue happening.
True. The not nice part of me says, "Ooh, when you guys have kids, I hope." But then I'm like, God, it's not right because I thought like, sorry, God, it's just a bad thought. But I also feel like that. Let's talk about us being kids.
Mm-hmm.
I, woo, I am in a journey with my parents that I love. God placed in my heart, I don't know, 2 years ago. I need to be more intentional with the time that I
Mm-hmm.
spend with them. And I have to call my mom every day. I call your mom every day.
And you're better than I am on that. I got to work on that.
I call my mom just to talk. Um, her memory is not that sharp anymore, so she'll repeat the same story 50 times. I feel I do that too. But I heard it in your head. But I feel like a different type of good love
Mm-hmm.
for, especially my mom. My dad I adore, but my mom. Those that know my testimony, maybe it was not the greatest relationship growing up, but the Lord has done something really beautiful. And now at her old age, I don't have that grudge anymore
Mm-hmm.
of, oh, but why you did this to me. I forgave her. I gave her an opportunity. She also gave me an opportunity because I became a rebel at a young age because of all the dysfunctionality that was happening in my house. And now I call my mom and in whatever I can serve her, discovering her love language now. I wish I did it before. I'm sorry. But now that I have that understanding, I also try to fill her cup. I know that she doesn't like gifts, but every time I give her something little, my mom is a very simple person. She's happy with a pin needle. Like I bring her chocolate flowers or
Okay.
chocolates when I did it last time I visited her, and she was like, "Oh my god!" Like it meant the world for her. Those little things. I do it. I used to do it before, but I am more intentional about it,
Mm-hmm.
and I can see how maybe I didn't have the opportunity to have the best relationship with her in the past, but I have it now. But something had to change in me. Sometimes we don't have to wait for the other person
Mm-hmm.
to take the first
Initiative. Yep.
move. But if God is placing it in your heart, do it because life is very short. And we have only this life. Try to do our best. That it's going to work all the time. Sorry to say that, no. But like I said at the beginning, you make sure you do the right thing before the Lord. And if that person closes the door right in your face, I am at peace with my spiritual life that I'm trying. That door is open. If the other person doesn't want to open or welcome you in,
Mm-hmm.
give it to God. Let God work in the other person's
Yep.
heart. But make sure that you're following the principle of trying to be present and trying to be there.
Mm-hmm. I like
It's not mine, it's
that.
God's.
Yeah, hopefully this resonated with you.
Yeah.
If you guys have any questions, any concerns, any comments, please email us at beintentionalprayer@gmail.com. It's going to be right on the bottom. And again, if you know somebody that's probably going through it, share this video with them. We've got a, a couple of emails coming back where, the stuff that we've actually, said actually worked with some people, and some people say, hey, how do I go about with certain issues? And we're able to help them to the best of our abilities. Because
Mm-hmm.
again, we're kind of talking off of what we've gone through and what we've changed in our lives with God, and how that's worked for us.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully it can work for you.
Absolutely. And we're gonna try to incorporate something now that we can go live on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
We weren't before because it was a new account, so you
Yep.
need a certain type of followers. We jump over the hump. We wanna go live after the series is done
Mm-hmm.
and open a conversation live. You can bring your questions.
Yep.
I know that a lot of people reach out to us in different ways, but having a live conversation is different because maybe when you get this video, maybe your problem is already like in the past,
Yeah.
or maybe unresolved, and you wish that you could ask something on the spot. So we're gonna open that door to, we do it on different platforms. We do it on
Mm-hmm.
TikTok, which is our bigger following there, but sometimes we do it on the other platforms because
Mm-hmm.
it is our bigger following
Yeah.
that we have. But we're gonna open it to YouTube because this is where our channel
Yep.
it's being produced. But I like this a lot, and I hope that it brings healing um, into your relationships. I hope that loneliness is something very real, and
Mm-hmm.
I think quality time can eliminate most of those feelings. Sometimes I'm thinking that, oh, you don't care about me, and it has nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with the person doesn't know how to approach it. So if we
Yeah.
learn these tools, we put them into practice, we can eliminate a lot of the assumptions that other people have about maybe you or me, that, oh, we don't care to them, they don't want to. I think God has given us strategies for us to be fruitful in our relationships, love relationships, friends, family, our kids. I think we just have to listen to what the Holy Spirit is trying to tell us and
Mm-hmm.
put it into practice, and that will eliminate a lot of those darts that come to our lives
Oh, yeah.
to make us feel crappy in our relationship. So we hope that this hit home
Mhm.
the same way as hitting home every single day with us.
Yep.
But
Every day. Doesn't end.
Good?
Alrighty.
Oh, yes. I was gonna. Woo. All right. We're gonna next week.
Yep.
We have
Same bat channel.
same channel. Until then, guys, thank you so much for your time. And if you have not subscribed,
Yes. Share it
it's
1,000
about to get
times.
better. It's about to get better. And you thank you for your support because
Yes. We love all you guys.
we love you guys. We appreciate every
Mhm.
single message of encouragement. Thank you guys for doing what you're doing. Thank you for speaking out.
Yeah.
Um,
Thank you for opening up.
Thank you.
Opening up
Thank you for all those
your
messages. Yes.
bedroom, bathroom, living room, wherever you see
Car.
us. You know, thank you for opening up that space with us.
Yes. We love you.
Until next time,
Love you
love
guys.
you guys.